So I am going to do a video on exporting and importing with CSVs. So let's bring up this. I'm already in the PG admin. I'm going to do this in Community Assist. Your assignments will be with the tech certificates. So the same kind of thing, but in the tech certificates. So I am going to, on Community Assist, right-click and add a query tool. They're going to show you a couple of ways to export. So one of them is you can do select star from, I'm going to do grant types. And we will just execute that so we can make sure that I didn't misspell anything, which I did, because it's just grant type. So there's our results for grant type. And we're going to export this as a CSV. So notice it has the very last button on this thing is download as CSV. You can also do it with the F8 key. I'm going to click on that. I am going to do save as. And I want to go to documents. You may have to navigate a bit more, and notice my grant type is already here because I've been playing with this, but you probably won't have anything there. If you just save it without doing save as, it will go to the download file. So I am going to save it, and I will replace the existing one. Okay. Now I'm going to create a second table, so I'm going to do create table grant type 2, and it'll have basically the same structure as the original grant type. So I'm going to, we'll say that it has a grant type key, and that is an integer. It has a grant type name, which is, we'll just do as text, and it has grant type one-time max, which will make numeric, and it has a grant type lifetime max, which will also be numeric. It'd help if I could type. Okay, so I am going to run that, and it creates a table grant type 2. If we go to tables in our object view here and refresh, you will see that there is a grant type 2. I'm going to right click on that, and I'm going to choose import export. I'm going to click over here to make it an import. I'm going to go find my file. It is a CSV. It does have headers, so I'm going to say yes for the header. It has columns, and at this point we're just going to do all of these columns, and I am going to say OK, and it creates the job, and it says that it was successfully completed. For your assignment, a screenshot of this or use the snipping tool to take that would be good evidence. So I'm going to do select star from grant type 2 just to show that it did actually import the data. Okay. So we did that import with a query. We can also export directly from the table. So I am going to go to, this time let's do position, job position. And I'm going to right click, and I'm going to export. So import export. This time we will do an export. We need to give it a file name. So I'm going to documents again, and I'm going to call it position, and it'll be a CSV file. So I will create that file. We will put the headers in it. And for the columns, I'm only going to do the position name and the position description. I'm not going to put the key in there. So I am going to do OK. And it exported that job, and it was successful. Okay. So once again, I'll create another table to import it into. Later, we will do these imports and exports with the data warehouse, and we'll actually move them between databases. But I'm going to do create table, job position 2, and I'm actually going to put, even though we only imported, well, let's just do the ones we did. So I'm going to do position name, text, position description. Text. So I'm creating a second. So I'm going to create that table. And then we will refresh over here again. And I am going to go to job position 2, and we will import. So we will do import export. So import, we did add the header, so it's important to add it here. We need to choose our file. We can check to make sure the columns are correct. We'll do OK. And it successfully completed it. So that's all I'm going to do for importing and exporting CSV files. It's actually quite transparent and easy to do. So I'll stop the video.